Friday world. How are you all doing out there? It is a gorgeous day here in East Tennessee. I don't know if anybody can see that, but like it is a beautiful day. The dog is over there playing in the grass, so if you hear random noises, it's just the puppy being a puppy, because they do that. I don't know if everybody watched the video. Probably not. Probably not, because premieres have been very quiet lately. Uh, it's okay. And I'm finally just taking the turn into some of the stuff that I really want to be talking about on the channel, and I don't expect everyone to be able to want to follow me, and certainly don't expect everybody to agree with me. So, it'll be a more peaceful live stream if everybody didn't watch the video. That's fine. Because I let's see. I shouldn't be cagey about it. I just made a video about it, right? It's actually only the bud of a video, because it's basically the intro to the video that I wanted to make. And got especially busy this month. Turns out having a graduate and a third grader is like some sort of vortex of busyness that I've just been living in for the last, oh gosh, couple of months, really. But it was especially bad the last couple of weeks of this month. Oh god. Oh, I did actually have this last week to work on it, and I've been so tired, and I took a while for the idea to really come together. You know how you think you have an idea for something, and then you go to develop it, and it goes woo. I feel like I'm not the only artist who has that issue, right? I can't be the only artist who has that issue. Sometimes the idea just is not quite what it appears to be. So, no, but I made the, so I basically made the intro for the video that I wanted to make, because I wanted to have something for everybody, and I wanted to put the idea out there. I didn't really develop it all that well, but essentially, which is that the basic building blocks of, oh, kitty cat's here. Hey, hey.
Hey, hold on.
How you doing? Okay.
I'm trying to get this stupid light properly on here. I don't want to have that big line.
Oh, here. Hello, popcorn hat. That's funny. What's up?
Just trying to get the light properly so there's no big line for it. Stupid.
Right on. It looks great.
All right, that works.
And if I'm not mistaken, really quick at the top, this is going to be our last week before we take a break for a week, right? At the beginning of next month, because you are going camping.
Here, next Friday.
Yeah, we're reading, well, The Death of Nature, Women, Ecology, and the Scientific Revolution by Carolyn Merchant. It says right there, and the beautiful thing that our friend Kat has printed out so helpfully for us. Hello, Belinda Smith, 1984. Hello. It looks stunning. Oh, thank you. Her printout looks stunning. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the amazing visual aid materials that our friend has provided for us.
Yeah.
No, sincerely.
Talking about
you go the extra mile.
We don't have any pictures for this chapter, unfortunately.
Oh, well, okay. I just talked you up. But if anybody goes and watches any of the old ones, she does. She provides pictures usually too. It's a stunning presentation, truly. It's a whole thing.
Pictures make everything funner.
Yes. And so, yeah, and I put out a video this morning, so this is also sort of a live stream in support of that. I don't suppose anybody has actually watched it. This is only about 5.5 minutes long if you want to go and watch it.
Yeah, what was the thing that was called? Something?
Correspondences. Yes. And how they are absolute nonsense.
Well, yeah.
Well, no, I know. Okay. And if you're an atheist and don't believe in anything, then obviously this is not the conversation for you, right? Like, that's fair.
Well, I've never
Okay.
even heard of correspondences. Like, what did like?
Okay. That's how you know which candle to light when,
Yeah.
basically.
Okay.
It is
Fine.
the
I figured.
basic foundational of all ritual that anyone ever does, ever.
Yeah, and
Okay.
but it's like got no basis in reality, I guess, because everyone's
It
so
has
different, right?
no,
So
not
basically, you do
only,
something with something, and then it's in a correspondence.
okay, we can't even have a debate about whether or not how they work is true because
Yeah,
no one can agree on how they work.
exactly. Like, there's nothing like.
So there's not even a debate to be had. It's bad.
Yeah.
Okay. You subscribe?
Well,
Hey,
it's the
what's
thing
up?
when they like because they said they talked about crystals, right? And you know me, I love my rocks, but I don't do any of that foofy shit. But it basically is like, yeah, it's like when something like when a new like sort of mineral or something or like material
Mhm,
is pushed on the market, there's always like
mhm.
this effort. There's always like this huge spiel about what it means and how it'll
The
manifest energy.
correspondences. That's what that
Yeah,
is. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna
that's
raise this a
yeah.
little bit. Yeah,
But that's so, but that's just so sus. Like
it
you are just
is.
trying to get like it's a
Well,
marketing tactic. I mean,
okay, and just to let.
that's where birthstones come from. Was from like diamond companies to
Mhm,
market Pacific
right.
gems for people. Yeah,
Yeah,
like it's just about consumers' marketing schemes to make money in that regard. When it comes to
right.
that, so that's funny. How very witchy
Yeah.
of you.
No, I know, right? Have right to participate in capitalism. Brava. Yeah.
Yeah, right, right,
Um,
right.
no, it's funny because just a little bit of the cat out of the bag. There was like a whole rest of the video that I wanted to make from that point, which is that originally there was an underpinning for these ideas, which
Yeah.
relies on a cosmology that nobody believes in anymore.
Mm.
So people have had to just kind of come up with their own explanations, which actually still boils down to the same argument that two uh, philosophers had in like the 3rd century, which is interesting, I think. Anyway, I love the history of philosophy. It's super fun to me.
I don't know about that area. All I know
No,
is
I
that
know,
it's definitely a marketing term.
but they are arguing. They are arguing over whether. Wait, you
Hmm?
know that philosophy is a marketing term?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's not what I'm talking about.
No. I meant like not the philosophy of it, but the push to at least when it comes to the whole like industry of crystals and all that.
Yeah.
That comes straight from just to try to sell product.
Oh no, yeah. No, yeah, totally. I'm not arguing with
That's
that.
all I
But
really
like,
know about that shit.
no, it's definitely been harnessed by capitalism to try and sell you crap, for sure.
Yeah.
But so has everything, right? But like,
Yeah,
okay,
everything basically,
these
yeah.
two philosophers were arguing over how best to contact God. Okay. So
Hmm.
if you don't believe in God, straight up, the ceremonial shit does not mean anything to you. And like they've had to come
Yeah.
up with their own explanations. And like I said in the video, a lot of people, will you remember me? Yeah, sure. Of course, 1984. I have a best friend born that year who I really need to write to actually. Um so it's it's very disjointed and it's all been just sort of swept under the rug. The fact that none of this actually means anything because it's the occult and it's so mysterious. But like I said, there are the whole popular tomes full of just lists of shit that are put in charts next to other shit because it looks good,
Yeah. It just yeah.
you know. And like,
This I just want to ask did you end up actually watching that video about the whole religious thing and like
oh my god, no, I never got back to that this week. I'm
oh
sorry. I
okay
was too worried. I was too worried about getting this shit done every spare
no
second,
that's
believe it
okay
or
I
not.
just because I was like because there's the point being made too that a lot of like the ritualistic stuff is very like Christian led but like when you look into the
Mhm.
origins of all that and stuff like that and then it goes into like before that sort of like that sort of religious hold, there was like say in Greece, there was like just also ways to try, and it all really had to do with trying to mimic and the same as just it's about say controlling women, and that's why you have it in the Christian faith.
Mm.
A lot of it is just the fact of it's just a lot of the philosophy was just centered around trying to have an excuse to like have women be like servitude. Like that's
Oh
like
yeah.
it's not, there's always motivations behind it.
So yeah,
So
Christian philosophy is so tainted. Their rituals are fun, but their philosophy is so tainted.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it
for
goes
sure.
into like this like slavery and why like they really like projected this sort of ideas that are based in Christianity and Christian ritual sort of like performances, right? To try
Really?
to like explain why like there's like the savages, like why they exist, right? Like it's just really good. It's a good video. I think it's just
Oh yeah. Like I say, I was just getting tired that day, and then I never got back to it because my kid graduated. Yay! It's been a busy week.
Yeah.
Like literally a week ago today, I had family over from out of state, and we were doing the whole graduation. So.
Yeah, they still haven't graduated yet over here.
Oh, right on.
So, or not even just graduated, I haven't finished school. So, yeah, still working it.
Good luck.
He just got an A in an English essay that he did.
Oh,
so
that's good.
Yeah, not too bad marks.
Oh, I keep seeing bullshit on YouTube. It keeps trying to push me videos about how the next generation is illiterate, and I'm like, where?
No, it's true. They are. They're not teaching them shit. That's
okay.
the thing.
And I understand that I'm not saying that the education system isn't troubled, but they're not all illiterate because I can name half a dozen of them right now who are literate.
Well, my kid's not
who are
illiterate
very
either, but the reason why my kid's not illiterate is because I taught him how to read out of school.
Right. No, right. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that the education system doesn't have problems. It does.
Oh yeah.
But to say that it is all cooked and the next generation is hopeless because absolutely none of them can read whatsoever is a lie.
No, they can
it's
read.
Just
but
doomerism. It's doomerism. That's all.
I do really think the school's cooked, but it's not just the school. It also has a lot to do with a lot of them are online, and that and the way that they teach them, they don't retain things, and like a lot of them they're not focused and stuff, and that is something that there's not getting invested into and like can improve because there's no need for it anymore because there's not going to be any jobs anyways. In like years to come, in a few years to come.
Yeah. You're on board for the doomerism. I shouldn't be surprised.
That's not doomerism. That's just looking at what's going on and thinking, okay, well, that's where the trajectory is going, and that makes sense of why they want that trajectory to be going that way.
Well, obviously we are also we're Can you see this?
I can't see the comments because I'm sitting down.
Oh, okay. I'm not reading that out loud. But it does not make any. It does because it's very rude, but it doesn't make any sense in the context of the conversation either. So.
Okay, well, if it doesn't make sense, then I can give a shit.
Yeah, no. Exactly. Anyways, so. Wow, it's just the cream of the crop in here today.
What do you mean? Is it all just trolls?
Yeah.
Bots?
Yeah, I don't know if they're bots or not. They're definitely trolls.
Yeah, bots or trolls. You mean, take your pick, really.
Yeah. Anyways, it's a beautiful day, and worst case scenario, we have reading to do, so.
I just didn't know if you wanted to keep talking about it because I know that you like to talk about your videos a little bit afterwards. And now,
yeah. I mean, we sort of wandered off. We sort of wandered off the topic, and I'm trying to think.
Back to what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the video, so you said this is like an intro, right?
Mm-hmm.
So where are we gonna go with this? I'm
Oh,
just curious.
yeah. Like I say, there was once a strong philosophical foundation for all of this correspondence stuff.
Mhm.
And
Kind of like an
then
alchemy thing.
it predates that. It's Hellenistic. It's like, okay, you're familiar with like the period of like Cleopatra when like the Greeks ruled
Yeah.
Egypt.
Okay. So Greek period. Yeah, that's before Christianity. Yeah. Okay.
Right, but like right before, you know, like the period, the large period that sort of gave birth to that whole thing, because the Romans are involved, you know. Um, and it was very syncretistic, so there was sort of a general consensus that like the Egyptians and the Greeks and the Romans and like all the different pantheons were just sort of different expressions of the same idea.
Projection. I
Well,
think a lot of that.
I mean, yeah, but like it's also kind of true because culturally speaking, they each had influence on each other going back across time, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's just the same region all around like the eastern half of the
No, I know.
Mediterranean, right?
I know. I know
So,
what you mean. I just wasn't too sure if you, because I know some Christians will put forth the idea that like all around, like it's just a different ways to represent Christian God, and that's like really a Christian
oh,
projection of other previous cultures.
oh no,
You know.
this is what these people believed in the Hellenistic era. It was a very syncretistic era. That's just my understanding of what they believed. I don't
Mhm.
have any skin in that game because I don't believe in any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so just put full disclosure out there. But it's philosophically interesting because if you believe in any kind of ritual, anything, the ideas of the correspond, you know, why do you do what you do the way that you do it, right? These are
Okay.
questions. Okay.
Hmm.
And if I wanted to go further with it, I guess I would have to say that the reason stuff like Christian ritual actually has any pull on anyone still is because it has retained its explanation for itself. You know, it supposedly means something. It has an underpinning. It's not just random shit being done.
Yeah.
As opposed to these other sorts of, but Christianity, and especially in Europe, wiped out, all of the meaning behind everything else because it is supposed to
Oh
be
yeah.
these
Totally did.
chains of being that are linked up to these ancient deities.
Mhm.
Okay. And if you don't have the ancient deities, then you don't have any fucking meaning to any of this shit. Okay.
Mhm.
That's why people talk about invoking planetary energies because they thought the gods lived in the fucking sky, like for real.
Yep.
And then when Christianity wiped out the gods, their powers got transferred onto the heavenly bodies, which is why we have astrology. Okay? Are you with me?
Yep. Yeah. I'm listening. I'm waiting.
Okay. Well, I think that's kind of a leap. I haven't seen anybody else say that, but to me, it's like, well, right, obviously. But so not only do we not believe in any of those ancient gods anymore, we know they're not fucking up there.
Yeah.
Astronomy has really kind of fucked with all of that really hard. Even the Christian version of it, where, the one that everything emanates down from is Yahweh. There's
Yeah.
nothing fucking up there. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
They still want to go to Mars and look like they're still hoping the aliens are going to come. They still want God to be up there. There's nothing fucking up there. And this is a serious problem for everybody who, isn't.
I don't think they're going there to search for God. I think they're going there to search for things to exploit.
Okay. I think it depends on who you are. Because some people are definitely spiritual about that shit.
Yeah. But the ones with the power and money and influence to actually do it, I think are just looking for a way to exploit, and they're just trying to they're just trying to find a way to exploit any sort of resources that they might find up there. That's what I think.
Oh, right. But if they can frame it in a righteous way to
Of
themselves,
course they
then they
will.
can
Of course they
sleep
will. Of
well
course
at
they'll
night.
frame it in the right way.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And I'm elucidating what I think that is. This is how they justify this righteous quest, to take all of the Earth's resources and blast them off into space.
Mm.
Anyway, oh, these comments are amazing. So, bottom line, ritual magic generally is very hollow for a couple of different reasons. So anyone who is looking for, any kind of ritual that actually means something is going to go not there, which is bad because we don't want Christianity to continue to grow in power. Like you were saying, it's responsible for some bad shit.
Mm-hmm. It's an easy way to it's an easy propaganda machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it, baby boy? I am on camera, honey.
I'm sorry.
What's going on?
This entire front edge.
I'm sorry. Scratch it, darling.
Yeah, no, it's just a propaganda machine that helps to try to help protect power, right? So we protect power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's something again that I think is a natural inclination that can be used for good. That's being used for not that. Oh, and I need to go in the house.
Because they have to hide the fact that it's a propaganda machine. They spout things that the reasons why good, what they do is good, and some people can take the good messages from it and apply that. There's nothing wrong with that, but the actual reason it exists or whatever, and how it's used by those in power is to basically just protect power. But they can't just say it like that, so they have to make it sound like it's for the good, right?
Yes. Owen, please go inside. Go read your book.
I told you. My itchy foot is this entire area. It's super itchy.
Go get some lotion.
From?
Your brother. Go ask your brother for some lotion.
He's in the bathroom.
Anyways.
Oh, look at that. The troll is spouting verses now. That's great.
Who? What? What?
I'm talking to the chat, my love. I'm on camera right now. I need you to go back in the house.
They're going back in the house. They don't get to know who the troll is.
1.
Who's the troll?
2.
Please.
That's not how this works.
Tell me who the troll is.
No, because we don't feed them. Go.
Feed troll?
Mm-hmm.
Will you tell me if you inside?
Sure. Eventually, I'll tell you all about it.
Why can't you tell me right now?
Because I'm still on camera,
because
too.
We're busy, honey. There we go. You might want to boot out some of these trolls, by the way.
I don't really know how to do that. How do I do that?
Oh, I don't know. I don't have the power to do that. Only you can, because it's your live stream. I'm just a guest.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how you do that.
Which, I don't know. I feel like if they were really, fucking with somebody, I would probably bother with that, but I just don't. I just try to ignore them mainly.
I just figured that, if it was being really, if there's a bunch of them or whatever, it might be.
Thank you.
If there is, I don't know, I can't see, I'm not reading it, but if there are a bunch of them, it might not be easy for people that actually want to be here, that want to talk, be able to do that.
Yeah, no, like I say, if they were, there's just really not that many people here at the moment. If it someday becomes an issue, somebody just gave me a little bit of direction on how to do that. Thank you. So, and then now we have nobody in here anyway, so that's hilarious. Up to 24 hours of troll away. Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, not a big deal. Whatever.
Yeah, the truly abusive stuff gets flagged and I just don't show it.
just leave that there.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, it's a problem because I do feel, and I know that a lot of people are atheists, and that's fine. And I'm not trying to argue against that. What I'm trying to say is that not everyone is, and we want a legitimate alternative to Christianity, right? To the Abrahamic religions. Like, we want a legit, robust alternative, right?
Okay.
To offer people instead of having everyone who is, inclined such to join such things because it's bad for them. You know,
It's bad for who?
Christianity is bad for people. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
some people are spiritual and want such things, and they need an alternative than the Abrahamic religions. They feel there just isn't one. Legitimate alternative science? No, obviously. I'm not speaking against science. I'm speaking for spirituality. There's a difference.
Well, that's fine. It's just that I didn't know what to say about that because.
No, I know. So I'm reading the comments. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Non
You were talking to me.
disputed. No. Because somebody is voicing one of the, Scientology. Now, obviously, Scientology is neither science nor religion. It's great. It's not. It's not great. That was sarcasm, in case anyone missed.
The only thing is like, well, like you need something that more robust, more, But the thing is, it's either there or it's not. So I don't know how you would actually go find it because then you just wouldn't that just end up being just you just making things up that are if they're not there already? I don't know.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
right, yeah. So how am I going to? How do I propose to acquire or build any kind of robust alternative? Well, I mean, obviously, it is a conversation that requires belief in any such thing. So,
I just don't know if you can because that would be you putting force onto it, right? If it was actually a spiritual thing, it would just be. It would come naturally through culture, but
come on now.
Because if
Nothing comes naturally through this culture.
My only concern is if you're having to try to focus and to try to form something, that could end up very easily being culty. I'm not saying about you doing it. I'm just saying like that. If you think about it on a general basis, right? You wouldn't want that. I don't know.
Yep.
I think the only thing that you would be able to really do is just you have to remove yourself from like basically a lot of the fucking culture that sustains the populace because like there's so much propaganda, so much push and stuff like that. It's hard to you wouldn't really able to find that sort of mindset with that such a overarching position and philosophy of the dominant culture, which is destructive. I don't think that you can actually find that in this sort of I don't know, because it would have to come naturally. If there was such a spiritual sort of underpinning that is out there that is substantial. I think that would have to come naturally, but it couldn't come naturally with a capitalist dominant era.
Right. So I don't think
that's
that.
A conundrum, I guess. That's my thoughts.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I don't think that anything comes naturally through this culture. I don't think any of it is organic right now. I don't.
Yeah. So, right.
Yeah. Just remixing, and that's what we've been. That's what we've been doing for hundreds and hundreds of years. It's just remixing the same ideas.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I asked about that video. If you, my life. Oopsie. That's why I asked if you watched the video because it goes in on that too. That aspect of the production of the dominant culture with the Christianity aspect too is really seeing other rituals and spiritual rituals and different social spiritual sort of practices and all that in a particular way that it conforms to these structures of Christianity, and it's nothing like that. If you actually if it's just the way that the dominant Christian culture our cultures interprets what they're doing. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's something I think you get a lot out of if you watch the last bits of it, because this actually
Oh
goes
yeah.
into that as well, which is interesting.
Yeah. No, it is. It is. It is. It is. So that's like, I guess I have 2 weeks to watch it after
Yeah.
today.
He also did an update as well. He wanted to talk on a few other things.
Nice. Yes, because
So
this is a topic that goes basically on and on forever, which is one of the reasons I chose it.
yeah, and there
Which is one
was
of the
yeah
reasons I chose it for
he
my
even
channel.
I think he even put out I wasn't not too sure if it's in the first or the second one, where he put out like a feminist philosopher too that goes in on the subject. So I just think that yeah, it's something that you would probably get a lot out of,
Hell yeah.
considering what your videos have been, right?
Yeah. It does. It does. It sounds good. And I'm remiss that I haven't actually finished it yet and don't have anything to say about it. But I will. I'm just gonna make
It
sure and
seems
I'm
like
gonna
a
write
lot
it
of your
down.
talking points that have very like strong coalitions with that. So
Mm-hmm.
and like correlations with it. So I just think that it's something you get a lot out of if you're really like wanting to like, philosophize or think a lot, a lot about this type of questions, I guess.
What was it called? Does the left need religion? No. The left
Yeah,
doesn't need religion. It was like a statement,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because the whole thing is that his what he's responding to is someone who's like saying why the religion of like more uncolonized sort of cultures and stuff, and the guy's like, well, no, because how you're even viewing it is through Christian projection, right? Because you're seeing it in the same structures as Christianity, because that's all you really know, because that's what's been dominated in this culture, and that we're
Right.
interpreting. So you're not even correctly. You're using this sort of imagery that doesn't exist, because you're taking it and you're molding it into something that you can interpret, and that is
Right.
through Christianity, right? That's what he
Right.
was talking about. Yeah.
Well, like coming to understand this whole chains of being thing that I was talking about earlier was like an epiphany moment for me, because what the fuck are we talking about, right? Okay, here's what it is. Physical reality, theoretically, emanates from an invisible parallel dimension. And that's where God lives and whatever. And that's what everyone imagines these chains of being, or like the houses in heaven or like whatever. Because so we're all arguing about the shape and nature and function of an invisible parallel universe. That's what it is.
It is.
Yeah. And I'm just like, oh my God. That explains so much.
That's why I am what I am.
That
I'm like,
explains so much.
I'm not even going to entertain this.
Oh my God. That explains so much.
Stupid.
Oh my God. And I'm just like,
when you
oh
say it
wow,
like that,
okay.
it does
Whew.
have to be fucking stupid, doesn't it? Next, we're gonna start thinking that they're trying to turn the frogs gay.
Well, because the observable world doesn't serve our ends. So we have to postulate.
Exactly.
We have to postulate an invisible extra layer that somehow makes this level make sense.
And that it makes this level don't matter as much, so you don't fight for it either.
Well, you're right. That is a side effect, but I think the reasoning is, it's frustration, and like wanting to understand. You're turning the freaking frogs gay, right? The Bible's an ancient Reddit post that got taken as fact. Some of these comments are really fun today. This is great. I gotta let the dog in the yard. Hang on. Where were we? Sorry if they keep distracting me.
Just how ridiculous when you actually break down what it is
yeah.
that they're trying to push.
The invisible alternative universe, the invisible parallel universe. Yeah.
This is why I'm just an atheist. I could give less of a fuck.
Right. And see, I'm not an atheist, but I just don't have all of these strange metaphysical beliefs either. And I've been trying to wrap my mind around them for such a long time. And I finally figured this out, and I was just like, oh,
See, I just don't think I don't think there's anything to wrap your mind around. It's propaganda for control. That's what it is. It makes much more sense. It makes much more sense that way than actually thinking that there's a real parallel universe where there's God.
no,
like,
no, right, yeah, right, yeah, right. No, that's what I'm saying. But like the reasoning behind the propaganda, like the mechanism, the mental mechanism behind how this is supposed to work, suddenly clicked for me, and I like being able to see the border of something makes it easier to brush it off. Does that make sense? Like you know where to
Yeah.
draw the line and be like, okay, everything from that side of the line is just I'm just gonna ignore it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, ignore more. Just don't lend credit to, because I don't think it's good to ignore it because it's a propaganda machine. You should understand that.
Well,
there's
okay,
propaganda being-
that's what
yeah.
I'm saying.
I know what you meant. I know what you meant. I just wanted to clarify. Like,
Yeah.
don't give it any legitimacy.
Right. I'm not going to integrate it into any of my personal calculus because it's all, imaginary.
Yeah, imaginary hoo-ha.
Yeah.
And like, if people want to believe in it, that's their okay. But like, I don't.
No, right. And I just don't
As
like.
long as you're not hurting anyone with it, because the problem with it is the fact that it's being used for propaganda by those with power. If you don't have any power and you want to believe and take good away messages from it, all power to you.
See, I
Because you don't
can't
have
even
any.
go that far. I can't even go that far. I can't even go that far. If you want my honest opinion, I don't think it's harmless because, as you say, it creates this
I
harmful
never said it was harmless. I
perspective.
said you
Well-
don't have the power to wield it, or have any control over it anyways, if you believed in it or not,
right.
because other people do. So, and I can't force someone to believe something that I don't believe in, right? That's another thing.
Well, right.
You do have your own autonomy. The problem is when people use it to wield power. People that are small don't really have power, but they can conform to the power. So if you're going to conform to it and be complicit in the power that it wields, then we have a problem, because that harms. You know what I mean?
Yes. It can be used. It has been and is currently, and yeah, right.
Oh,
No, because some people are just power hungry motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually is a lie that I think Christianity definitely tells, which is that there's good in everyone.
No, people are not. Okay, well, what does that even mean? Good and bad. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's just it's so black and white.
I actually have.
It is black and white, but like
Yeah.
people are not inherently good and not inherently evil.
No. It takes work.
Right?
To be so destructive, it takes work, takes practice.
It's just that you are formed by the environment that you like grow up and live in, and the things that happen to you, and then the way you are able to contribute to your environment. And like, so it really just depends on a formula that is about your environmental external situation.
So are you just a total determinist then?
A what?
Are you just a total determinist then?
What do you mean a determinist? That's not determinist, isn't it?
Yeah, where your actions are okay, where you don't necessarily choose what you do. What you do is determined by like your environment and the things that happened before.
No, the environment creates who you are, and then you choose based on that.
Okay.
So you have autonomy, but the environment is what constructs how you see the world, and then what you do helps along with that. So it's
got it.
Determinism is like biological determinism. No, I don't believe an inherently biological factor determines like what you're going to do. You have no control of yourself. That's bullshit. You do have control, but it's ridiculously unintelligent to think that the environment and your external environment has absolutely nothing to do with how you behave and what you choose to do, that it has no effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, like, the way that we see about like cause and effect as well is what legitimate's good and what's bad. Like, a lot of people, well, the priorities of what is good and bad if you like take a step back, it doesn't really hold weight. Like, okay, people aren't like as concerned as say what like happens outside of like your country or whatever, or your nation, but it does concern you, and you get more emotional when something happens within your own cult, like your own society, with the way you see. Like they don't really like if many Palestinians, the way how many they've died, if that actually happened here in our country, you would see that would be a lot to you more evil, morally speaking, than actually the fact that it's actually still happening. It's just not happening to you, and people don't like. You know what I mean? So, like, when we say good and when we say bad, what does that mean to you?
Right. So you see that sort of limited scope of people's empathy as a hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I
Because,
say,
I was even watching like a lot of like in the people from the UK, let's say, even like you know who King Cole is, right? And this idea of the immigration thing, right? And well, what to do about it? And they like, and I've spoken about this many times, commented many times, and it just completely gets ignored. Is the fact that like, okay, you don't want immigrants. You have to stop bombing their countries. You have to stop supporting your government spending money and bombing their countries. You have to get your industries out of their countries. You have to stop cooing in their countries. You have you have to stop like involving yourself in their countries. That's and then you have to get rid of their debt that you put on the countries in exchange for resources for yours. Until you fix all of that first, you have no say. You have no legitimate leg to stand on about them leaving to try to because why are they leaving? But they never ever go into that. Even he won't touch that.
That's crazy.
It's like the hypocrisy, really. Like,
see, and I feel like that was actually a fairly mainstream point in American politics for quite some time while we were in Afghanistan for 13 fucking years or whatever it was. Which was that, we need to stop bombing them and then they will stop leaving their home. Like, why would they?
Like, economically going in and destroying, like, with trade agreements.
Yeah.
They're destroying their economy, and then they're so poor that they come here. Of course, they're going to come here. They want to survive, but then you're like, well, why are they coming? We should have no. Maybe you should get the fuck out of the country. Stop. Like, you don't want to take any fucking legitimacy towards that, and that's
no responsibility. We're just the victims, just poor, ridiculously rich victims. Yes.
Right. It's like and the reason why there's a lot. Like, I understand why. When it comes, because the reason why they let them in is simply because it suppresses wages. It makes wage labor lower. If there's more people ready to work for a lower wage, I get that. That's why they let them in. But you have to if you want to fix it, if you really don't want immigration so much coming over into your country, then you have to fix the actual fundamental problem. There
are larger issues
your country is causing. So fix that.
Yeah.
Then you can say yes or no if you could come into the country when you're not involving yourself in theirs. Like, the hypocrisy of it all. It's like, ugh.
No, yeah.
Come on.
It's yeah. I didn't watch that video of his, so I can't speak to that because well, I was afraid of something like that he was gonna just say something, dumb.
Yeah, it was. It was really dumb. I'm like, and then I comment, and it's like everyone just ignores it or tried to like push back against it. But it's like you can't, because it's obviously fact. It's just you don't want to ignore it because you don't want to do anything because you're a fucking lazy fuckers, and you think, and then you are like you're putting yourself on a higher playing field that doesn't involve. It's not on the same level as everyone. You want to be you want to stay in your hypocrisy.
You're right.
Superior. That's supremacist thinking. That rules apply to them, but not for you. Okay. So yeah, I don't understand. Just it's not that yeah, it's harder to try to fix that, but if you really want to fix it, then that's just how it is. That's what's going to fix it. Nothing else.
Right, and it's like it is. It's ironically a failure of empathy for things that even are happening in your own backyard, because why would those people be coming all the way up here?
Right,
you have to think of them.
For no reason.
They
don't leave their homes. They don't.
Right.
They're not coming over there just because for no fucking reason. There's a reason, and the reason is you.
It's white supremacist thinking at its base, because they just think those people are coming over here because they want what we have because it's better.
Yeah, they want what we have because it's better because you force them into a position where they're literally being oppressed and they're going into sweatshops and they're like being forced to work
Right.
and they're starving, and that's your
No,
country
I
doing
mean
them.
they want what
So
they
of course
have.
they
What
want to
they
escape that.
right? They
Why
want what
wouldn't
we
they?
have
You
because
would
it's
too.
better because we're white.
Yeah, no,
Is the
you would want to escape that too, but
no?
like,
Yeah, no, right. That's rational though,
yeah, I know it's rational. That's
and
the problem,
doesn't underpin racism well. So
Oh, of course, because you're seeing that you don't have to apply to that logic. That you are
no.
above the rules of like
And
logic.
I'm speaking as someone who lives in a town that's like 30% Mexican immigrants. So
Yeah,
it's not the UK, but it's not dissimilar.
it's the same in the States. It's the same in Canada. Like
Yeah.
it's same for all Western countries. That's just how
And
that
all
is.
these people have been displaced. And
Yeah,
why
and it
would
is by
that be?
your countries, by
Gee,
your
right, yeah.
countries, not just
Right.
displaced for no reason. Your country. It's
Which is
your
why they
country.
thought to come there, I think, right?
Cat.
Like,
Okay, hold on. Move, cat. Move. You gotta go. Sorry. But yeah, it's just bogs my mind that like even like people I would think would again should know better, just decide to ignore it. This is the same issue I had with the radical feminist. It's like problem. It's like you know better. I know you know better, but you're just gonna you're just gonna ignore it because and
Right.
prioritize what you want. Like that's not acceptable, and that it's just hypocrisy. And so why should I give a fuck about wanting to like even entertain you? Because like you're destructive, like on so many levels. It's just not the level that you want to like care about.
See, this is why writing video essays is so difficult for me, honestly, is because I find I need to drill down to like the bottom of whatever issue it is. I don't want to just make the point that I want to make forever in a bubble. I end up like popping the bubble and drilling down into the next layer and going, oh, fuck, now I have to talk about this shit too. You know?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
On the other hand, it is nice to be thorough, I suppose. It feels good.
Well, it's good to be thorough so you know what's going on because everything does really connect. It really does. It makes sense in a way when you have all those connections and you understand them. It's just that what's disheartening is that no one wants to actually focus on that. Nobody wants to think about that. They want to just pretend that it doesn't exist so they can just get what they want.
Yeah.
Which is annoying. Because that's gonna really skew what you want. Because if you want a certain say thing to like when it comes to the radical feminists about the whole like issue of trans or gender ideology, if you want to actually get to the root of anything like that, you're gonna have to look at the world as a holistic as a whole and what's going on, because it's gonna change the effects of what that is and what that means and why it exists. Otherwise, you're gonna end up into a fucking right-wing fucking Nazi group like y'all are.
Right. And it's how you end up with these assumed, foundations of things.
Yeah. That
like, I don't think Michael's actually racist. King Critical. I don't think he's actually racist, but he is saying that thing. He is saying the thing that underpins the racist idea.
Yeah.
Because he, ironically to his name, didn't think all the way through.
Well, yeah. Well, he won't. Because I know that he looks at my comments because he used to like them, but then I started getting into other shit. It just he started to stop.
Right.
So just ignore it, right? And I'm like,
Right.
Okay.
No, and his drift is actually a really interesting example of one of the reasons I think we do need like a spiritual alternative to Christianity. Like seriously, like people need, and I know, science and atheism and everything. Like I was raised by Mensons, okay, like so. We go to church because it's the only way to meet people over 20 in this town.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm familiar with the doctrine, and I'm familiar with
better than me. My brain would start to melt.
Well, I think, but see, some people are spiritual or find that stuff, interesting, or it's not rational though. it's non-rational. You know what I mean? Well, maybe you don't know what I mean. It is outside of rationality, which is not something that can exist in a lot of the current paradigm. So
Yeah, I just don't want to lend myself to anything that is based on faith, because like that's what you mean by it doesn't hold any rationality. It doesn't have a core base. Like you have to base something at this like
oh no,
as its
that's
foundation
not what I mean. That's not what I
Okay.
mean. I don't mean that it's based on nothing. I mean that it's not rational. Like, okay, the experience of, I don't know, the first thing that comes to mind of eating lunch is not either rational or irrational. I mean, it's rational because you'll eat. If you don't eat, you'll starve. But like what you choose to eat is not necessarily rational or irrational. It's just what you like, right? I don't know. I'm not explaining
I
this
think
very
there's a
well.
rational explanation for that. Is because you need certain
Right.
nutrients, and certain things will give you nutrients,
Right.
so that's why you crave them.
I
That's
need to come
rational.
up with a better example, but coming up with examples is difficult but it's more of an experiential understanding of something as opposed to rational linear knowledge.
Well,
It's a difference.
Linear, rational, and then linear knowledge. Those two separate things and ideas. Rational just means there's a basis for it. There's an explanation for it.
Okay, so, and I want to go into all of this right now, but it can be rational to believe things that you can't necessarily explain or give evidence for, like that your kids love you or whatever. I mean, I guess you can probably give evidence for that, but
there is evidence for that.
Dreams, like.
But you see, these things that you're coming up with, I find there's a rational explanation for all of them.
Right, but
so that is still rational.
Because this is still, I'm still working on how to. This is further down the line, and I'm having a good time ticking off these things that are bad examples, because then I know what to look for in a good example.
Maybe you'll find one, but like that's. But I'm trying to say, in my perspective, I'll only believe in something that has a rational explanation.
Right.
That makes sense. So, and I find that a lot of things actually do find there is a rational reason why things happen. There's a reason. It's rational. Even if it seems irrational, there is a rational reason. That's the way I just see things. That's just my take. And I think that if you just base everything that on a rationality and then see if what pans through that, and if that makes sense, you'll find a lot of things make sense. You find a lot of things fall into place that makes logical sense, an explanation for. And the more you find those like rational regards, especially when we're talking about on a whole of the world, like the macrocosm of it, makes sense, because you have everything explains this, and then explains that explains why this happened, and which explains this, and which explains this, and eventually you can really see it on the whole level of all those reasons coming together, and it just becomes a lot clearer.
Right. So, just not everything fits into that kind of thing. Not everything can be rationally understood by the human mind. I think it's arrogant to assume otherwise. I mean, that's all really.
So far, okay, but that just means that I have to find that, because I have not found something that it cannot be rationally explained.
That's cool.
So I don't know what to say about that. Unless you want to think about this later after this, I'm gonna try to find something more examples of that you can give me, then maybe change my mind. But until then, I think that everything has a rational explanation to it.
Well, and that's the thing about it, is it's not so much about changing your mind. I don't think that's how it works.
I know it's not about you, but I'm saying my mind would change. You can show me that there's something out there that doesn't have a rational explanation that I cannot give you.
Right, and if I could show you that would be amazing. But unfortunately, I am not in control of that. So
I'm just saying, if you think of come up with something after this, after today. I'm just saying.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
and coming up with an example is really, it is really just the kind of thing that has to be experienced. So explaining it is extremely difficult, and that's kind of the nature of the thing, unfortunately. What is it, baby? One of my inexplicable experiences this year to interrupt me again. What is it, darling? Are you done with your book? No, why are you out here?
Cole doesn't want me reading. I mean, watching it because he thinks I can do better things with my time.
Oh my God, yes, but it is a reward. You know what? I will talk to him. Okay?
No, I think he's right.
Great.
So he has shown me a new game.
Okay, great. We can talk about it when I'm done. Okay? I got like another hour, okay? And no, go in the house and wait until I am done. One?
Please.
No, not right now. I love you.
Anyways,
we can get on to reading if you want. I think we've been chattering for like an hour.
My fucking cat's ass. Trying to sit all the papers right now. That's for mom.
And we have had. Thank you guys so much. These comments have been so amazing. We've had a Christian and a Muslim and an atheist switch sort of person. Something like that, going back and forth. It's been such fun. Thank you guys so much.
Great. I gotta look at the comments later.
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yes.
Okay. So I don't think this is a big chapter, but
okay.
So and it is. I forgot to do the chapter thingy. So this is what I'm going to be reading. It's chapter 6: production, reproduction, and the female.
Ooh. Sounds brutal.
Okay,
I'm going to mute myself while she's reading in case anyone is following along at home.
I'm just going to put this light over here a little bit so I can see it better. Okay. So, production, reproduction, and the female. The new economic and scientific order emerging in 16th and 17th century Europe would be of lasting significance for both nature and women, for at its ideological core were the concepts of passivity and control in the spheres of production and reproduction. Disorderly female nature would soon submit to the controls of the experimental method and technological advance, and middle and upper class women would gradually lose their roles as active partners in economic life, becoming passive dependents in both production and reproduction. In hierarchical society, women's economic and social roles were defined by the class to which they belonged through birth or marriage. In the lower orders of society, peasant and farm wives were integral parts of a productive family unit. Married women carried a heavy burden of labor, childbearing and child rearing, gardening, cooking, cheese and soap making, spinning and weaving, beer brewing and healing. Unmarried women worked as servants in another household, as unskilled labor in mowing, reaping, and sheep shearing, or at spinning and weaving. Urban women worked in the crafts or trades, owned shops, were members of craft guilds, and even occasionally worked at construction and ditch digging. At the upper levels of society, noble women were busy supervising the economic activities of the state, owning and managing property, and keeping accounts. Within pre-industrial capitalism, women's economic roles became more restrictive and their domestic lives came to be more rigidly defined by their sex as women rather than by their class. The ideal developing for the upper class and well-to-do bourgeois wife was a life of leisure, symbolizing the success of her husband's economic virtues and ventures. In countries on the cutting edge of the capitalist advance, such as Italy in the 14th and 15th centuries, and as will be elaborated in this chapter, England in the 16th and 17th centuries, the contraction and redefinition of women's productive and domestic roles was consistent with changes in the ideology of sexuality. In Renaissance Italy, around 1350 to 1530, where a mercantile economy had developed much earlier than in Northern Europe, men's public lives were expanding while urban women's were contracting into domesticity. Many medieval Italian girls had been raised in the court of an educated noblewoman, which functioned as a cultural center in determining social values and mores. But in the Renaissance, their education emphasized morality, chastity, and readings in the newly recovered classics of Greek and Rome. This shift presupposed male public and female domestic spheres. Medieval courtly love had been based on a knight's service to a lady who gave him her love in mutual exchange, combining genuine sexuality and passion with Christian love. But his Renaissance counterpart loved a platonic ideal whom he seemed to serve, but who in reality was a chaste and passive subordinate. In 17th century England, significant changes were taking place in the productive work of women in domestic life, in the home, in family industries, producing and selling foods for the local market, and early capitalist industries such as agriculture, textile manufacture, and the retail trades, and in professional employment. The direction of the change was to limit and curtail the married woman's role as a partner so that she became more dependent on her husband. In the sphere of reproduction, women midwives were losing their monopoly over assisting at childbirth to male doctors. Simultaneously, the female's passive role in biological generation was being reasserted by physicians and natural philosophers. The witch and her counterpart, the midwife, were at the symbolic center of a struggle for control over matter and nature, essential to new social relations in the spheres of production and reproduction. Women and production. Aristocratic women of the Elizabethan era managed the business affairs of their estates during their husband's absence and after his death. Yet Restoration ladies of quality often had nothing better to do but to glorify God and to benefit their neighbors. The expectation that women should be trained in business affairs having that by then markedly decreased. Under subsistence agriculture, the wives of yeomen and husbanders had participated in the family farming operation, the profits of which benefited and were shared by the whole family. But as yeomen became wealthy agricultural improvers and market farmers, hiring more servants and day laborers, their wives withdrew from active participation in daily farm work, devoting more time to pleasure. These changes reduced the married woman's ability to support herself and her children on her husband's death. Male day laborers in the new capitalist agricultural operations were completely dependent on the wages earned for their labor to support their families, having no land on which to grow family food. A wife's earnings, if she worked outside the home, were considerably less than her husband's because her capacity for outside employment was reduced by the number of small children to be cared for at home, and the health and nutrition of the family suffered as a result. If her husband deserted her, a mother encumbered by children was unable to engage in sufficient productive work to support her family. The English export market for woolen goods was one of the earliest and most important capitalist industries. Women played no role as clothiers or wool merchants, and little mention is made of them as assistants in the business ventures of their husbands, their employment being confined to wage work, primarily in the spinning branch of the industry. Women bought wool and, when not occupied in agricultural production, spun it at home and sold the yarn on the market. If, however, a wife was forced to work outside the home, the wages she earned were insufficient to provide both food and clothing for her and her children, although an unmarried spinster could support herself. By 1511, women had been forbidden to weave because strength was needed to operate the looms. A widow, however, was allowed to continue the weaving industry of her husband, directing the servants employed by him as long as she remained unmarried. In addition to spinning, women also participated in the bleaching and fulling operations. In periods of depression in the industry, fathers all too frequently deserted their families to seek work elsewhere or to become masterless vagabonds, leaving women with their children as the objects of charity. In the retail trades, women fared well as long as the family operated as a productive unit. The wife helping in her husband's business and taking it over if widowed. But as the trades and crafts began to adopt the capitalistic mode of employing wage workers, the wives of master craftsmen had less opportunity for participation, while the wives of journeymen who had hitherto received guild privileges through marriage were now excluded from the new journeymen's organizations, which sought to protect the man's position, vice versa the master. These wives either became more dependent on their husbands, who were said to keep them, or were forced to enter the marketplace on their own. They were able to become apprentices in women's trades such as hat making and cloak making, but as a group gradually lost ground in trades such as baking, butchering, fishmongering, and brewing, as rules and statutes began to limit the numbers of persons engaged. By the end of the 17th century, women had lost control of the brewing trade, an occupation that in earlier times they had monopolized. Until the 17th century, midwifery was the exclusive province of women. It was improper for men to be present at such a private and mysterious occurrence as the delivery of a child. Midwives were professionals, usually well trained through apprenticeship and well paid for their services to both rural and urban, rich and poor women. Yet no organization of midwives existed that could set standards to prevent untrained or poverty-stricken women from taking up the practice. Moreover, women were excluded from attending universities and medical schools where anatomy and medicine were being taught. 17th century London midwives, rightly or wrongly, considered themselves a responsible, well-trained group of women. But by 1634, the midwife profession was being threatened by the licensing of male surgeons who wished to practice midwifery with forceps, a technology that would be available only to licensed physicians. The midwives had complained to the Bishop of London that such a practice was often marked by violence and that men had insufficient experience with deliveries. The Chamberlain family, which had invented the forceps, was attempting to establish educational and legal restrictions on their use. Earlier in 1616, the doctors Peter Chamberlain, elder and younger, had tried to form a corporation of midwives. The midwives doubted the Chamberlains' ostensible motives to educate and organize them because they feared that the latter would attempt to assume sole licensing authority. They favored the older delivery methods of which they had knowledge and called the new forceps method of a violent practice. Their 1634 petition directed against Peter Chamberlain III stated, quote, Dr. Chamberlain hath no experience in midwifery, but by reading, and further Dr. Chamberlain's work and the work belonging to midwives are contrary one to the other, for he delivers none without the use of instruments by extraordinary violence in desperate occasions, which women never practiced nor desired, for they have neither parts nor hands for that art, end quote. In addition to the Chamberlains, other doctors of the period were sharply critical of the practices of midwives. William Harvey, noted for his discovery of the circulation of the blood and one of the 4 censors of the Royal College of Physicians, responsible for enforcing the college's monopoly over licensing laws, took issue with some of their methods in his essay on parturition at the end of Extractations de Generalium Animalium, or whatever that French word is, in 1651, quote, Hence it is that midwives are so much to blame, especially the younger and more meddlesome ones, who make a marvelous pother when they hear the woman cry out with her palms and implore assistance, daubing their hands with oil and distending the passages so as not to appear ignorant in their art, giving besides medicines to excite the expulsive powers, and when they hurry the labor, retarding it and making it unnatural, by leaving behind portions of the membranes or even of the placenta itself, besides exposing the wretched woman to the air, wearing her out on the labor stool, and making her, in fact, run great risk of life. In truth, it is far better with the poor and those who become pregnant by mischance and are secretly delivered without the aid of a midwife. For the longer birth is retarded, the more safely and easily is the process completed. End quote. Okay. Harvey's Degeneration did not deal extensively with human reproduction, and his examples of difficult births by women were not a significant contribution to the period's inadequate genealogical science. Yet, in spite of its obvious lacunae in the state of obstetrical knowledge, Harvey's contributions have been eulogized by historians of medicine as the work of a grand broad intellect, which could at the same time teach the profoundest physicians and the most ignorant midwives, and whose beneficial influence can scarcely be overestimated. End quote. During the 1630s and 1640s, male physicians, in addition to Harvey, wrote treatises that helped to discredit midwives, contributing to the decline of female midwifery. Male physicians who wrote disparagingly about female practices included Peter Chamberlain the Elder and the Younger, who had petitioned Francis Bacon in 1616 to incorporate the ignorant midwives. Peter Chamberlain III, who wrote A Voice in Rama, or The Cry of Women and Children, published in 1647, probably in retaliation for the midwives' opposition in 1634. Hugh Chamberlain the Elder, Paul Chamberlain, author of Dr. Chamberlain's Midwife's Practice, or A Guide for Women in the High Concern of Conception, Breeding, and Nursing Children, published in 1665, and Percival Willoughby, whose observations of midwifery praised Harvey's obstetrical directions. Since most historical accounts of midwifery in this period are based on the data supplied by male writers and male midwives, some of whom, like the Chamberlains, had political motives, an accurate assessment of the state of midwifery as a women's art is difficult to make. After the middle of the century, English midwives such as Jane Sharp and Elizabeth Kellier, along with medical practitioners Nicholas Culpeper, wrote midwifery handbooks in the attempt to make obstetrical and gynecological training available to women in the profession. In France, a school of midwifery was established where anatomy was taught through dissection, and surgeons examined women apprentices. Yet, despite these attempts by a few persons to upgrade and include women in the advancing medical and scientific knowledge of the period, women began to lose control over midwifery and thus over their own reproductive functions. By the end of the century, childbirth was passing into the hands of male doctors and man midwives. While women's productive roles were decreasing under early capitalism, the beginning of a process that would ultimately transform them from an economic resource for their families' subsistence to a psychic resource for their husbands, the cultural role played by female symbols and principles was also changing. The female world soul, with its lower component, natura, and the nurturing female earth had begun to lose plausibility in a world increasingly influenced by mining technology essential to commercial capitalism. The older organic order of nature and society was breaking up as the new mercantile activities threatened the ideology of natural stratification in society. Symbolic of these changes were the midwife and the witch. From the perspective of the male, the witch was a symbol of disorder in nature and society, both of which must be brought under control. The midwife symbolized female incompetence in her own natural sphere, reproduction correctable through technology invented and controlled by men, the forceps. But from a female perspective, witchcraft represented a form of power by which oppressed lower-class women could retaliate against social injustices, and a source of healing through the use of spirits and the regenerative powers of nature. For women, the midwife symbolized female control over the female reproductive function. But until medical training became available to women and licensing regulations were equalized for both women and men, women had no opportunity to compare the effectiveness of the older shared traditions of midwifery as an art with the new medical science. Reproduction and the female. William Harvey's discovery of the circulation of the blood, published in 1628, is considered one of the outstanding achievements of early modern science. Although Harvey's cosmos and physiology were still infused by vital animistic principles, his analogy of the heart as a pump would soon be incorporated into a mechanistic physiology by René Descartes. Dutch physician Herman Boerhaave and French physician-philosopher Julien Lemaitre. The machine metaphor, based on the dualism between body and soul, with the soul as an external operator, contrasted with the older vitalistic view that the body was permeated with and enlivened by an animating spirit. This incredible machine, as it was called in a recent television documentary, must therefore be repaired by medical intervention rather than left to the healing powers of nature. In addition to his work on blood circulation, Harvey devoted much energy to the subject of biological reproduction, an area influenced by cultural ideology about female roles. Harvey's own generation was filled with rich metaphor and value-laden phraseology. When his biological ideas are set in the broader context of the cultural changes of his time, the passive role he assigned to both matter and the female in reproduction is consistent with, although not caused by, the trend toward female passivity in the sphere of industrial production, and with the reassertion of the passivity and inertness of matter by the new 17th century mechanical philosophy. Harvey's theory of biological reproduction is compatible with new scientific values based on the control of nature and women, integral to the new capitalist modes of production. Harvey's ideas were formulated during the same period in which the controversies over women's role in society and their declining role in productive work took place in England. He was physician extraordinary. to James I and doctor to Francis Bacon, who, he observed derisively, wrote philosophy like a Lord Chancellor. Yet, after the death of James I in 1625, Harvey became physician ordinary to Charles I, who placed the royal deer parts at his disposal to study the generative processes in the doe and the hind. As a royal employee, Harvey identified with the political values of his sovereigns, his sympathies being royalist, at least until 1649 when Charles was beheaded. Ideological assumptions about the female sex permeated English culture during the years in which Harvey was collecting data and writing the De Generation. A middle-class controversy over women, which raged in Elizabethan England, continued to inspire new works on women's nature in the 1630s to 1650s. Charles I, who was more cultured than James I, might have allowed women more freedom in education had it not been for the intervention of the Civil War. The view of biological generation that guided William Harvey's experimental work and theoretical interpretations had originated with Aristotle, and, as discussed in Chapter 1, supposed that the female contributed the matter, or a passive principle, on which the semen, the active male principle, worked and created the embryo. Aristotle's association of the male with the perfection of the sphere was emphasized during the medieval and early modern periods. Albertus Magnus agreed that male chicks developed from the more spherical eggs because the sphere was the most perfect figure in solid geometry. Long pointed eggs produced females. The rounder ones produced the stronger, more perfect animal, the male. People were advised to eat the long, thin, sweet, and more nourishing eggs rather than the hard, round ones, which contained the yolk of the male. Oh my god. Where do they get this shit? Okay. During the 16th century, the theory of female passivity and reproduction became well established. Although some writers followed Galen in assigning both formal and material causes equally to the male-female, even Galen viewed the female as less perfect than the male because her genitalia did not emerge externally and her semen wasn't perfect. Okay. Most 16th century writers sided with Aristotle's theory that the female provided only the matter, while the active principle was attributed to the male semen. Gossip and popular opinion held the male seed to be the chief agent in generation, although the female's cooperation was needed for development of the embryo. Most texts supported the ancient idea that the male embryo was twice as hot and developed twice as quickly as the female. Embryological illustrations showed the female blood along with the semen in an egg-shaped mass in the womb. Harvey's Prudian teacher, Hieronymus Fabricius, maintained in his embryological treatise published in 1621 that the sperm never reached the egg. It merely vivified it by an immaterial funductive faculty. As sole agent and efficient cause, it imparted quality to the egg. The female supplied the nutriment and warmth for the embryo's development. Thus, the theory of man as parent and the woman as incubator formed the prevailing sexual ideology of the latter 16th and early 17th centuries. Although Harvey's De Generation Animalium dealt primarily with the reproduction in the chick and the deer, comparisons to human reproduction were made throughout and human conception and paturation were discussed in the final chapters.
Which is hysterical. I'm just going to stop you for a second. I'm sorry. I've been in the kitchen for 15 minutes and I went to say how amazing it was that they are like, oh, well, we're just not going to tell you about all this stuff, stupid women.
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to hide it from them and then call them stupid?
Like, oh, the chick egg thing.
Oh my God.
Where are you getting this from? This is just pulling out of your ass.
Right. Literally, that one's just somebody saw that and thought it sounded good and somebody else agreed. Right. Yeah. But like,
is that where you're basing this all off of? Look, that's pretty shifty. Like, that's weird.
Yep. And weird. Yeah, agreed. But so like the idea of the man being the parent and the woman is just oh my God, fuck you so hard. Because it's actually the entire reverse of that.
I know, right? Right?
Wow, that's so offensive. Anyway.
That's okay. What was I? But whereas Fabricius, here. I'll just read the whole paragraph again. Although Harvey's De Generation Animalium dealt primarily with reproduction in the chick and deer, comparisons to human reproduction were made throughout, and human conception and parturition were discussed in the final chapters. Harvey's work followed Aristotle and Fabricius in many respects, but whereas Fabricius's work mainly described biological structures and generative processes, Harvey's writings were filled with sexual metaphor. Although some historians have interpreted Harvey's ideas on generation as a cooperation between sperm and ova, with the egg assuming a newly elevated place of dignity, close attention to his language reveals the influence of cultural sexual biases in his scientific work. Harvey's work on generation led him to differ from Aristotle in assigning an efficient cause to the mother hen, but this did not imply the primacy of the female line in procreation. The hen's egg developed through its own internal principle, its vegetative soul. This soul was not derived from the mother hen, and the egg did not live by the vital principle of the mother, but was, quote, independent even from its first appearance, end quote. Free and unconnected to the uterus, the egg perfected itself by its internal formative force.
Well, ain't that damn convenient? I almost wish it did work that way. That sounds a whole lot less exhausting. Fucking hell.
Being unconnected to the uterus, the egg perfected itself by its internal formative force. Following an inner developmental plan, structures, including the soul of the chick, were formed in succession after fertilization. The plastic virtue or formative principle was present in the matter of unfertilized eggs and could act without the male contribution, albeit imperfectly. Because the head could lay unfertilized eggs, she served as an efficient cause, a role Aristotle had denied to the female. Thus, not all creative force was derived solely from the male agent, as Aristotle had argued. Nevertheless, the male for Harvey was more excellent as an efficient cause than the female. A hen's egg obtained perfection only when fertilized by the male, in virtue of an authority or power required of the cock. Among animals where the sexes are distinct, matters are so arranged that since the female alone is inadequate to engender an embryo and to nourish it and protect the young, a male is associated with her by nature as the superior and more worthy progenitor, as the consort of her labor and the means of supplying her deficiencies.
How you get that exactly? That's crazy.
Yeah. You wouldn't, the thing is, without her, nothing comes from you.
Right, yeah, but he's clearly superior because she does everything but generate it on her own, so he's better.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Because they've got the soul in there, right? It's just silly matter for women, but their semen has the soul. Which so not rational.
I love that. Leave it to a man to believe that his semen is the source of all life.
Right.
Yeah, I really do think they believe that. To be fair.
Well, yes, yeah, I do that. I do think that, and I don't even know if they understand that that's where it comes from. If they've never really looked at that part. But yeah, a lot of people do, not even just like men. But that's because it's been so ingrained, right? This is where gender comes from. This is like the startings right before the understanding of gender, and why it's so connected to sex is because this is where this is coming from. It all lays down to the basis of what they looked at when it comes to chicks and hens and roosters' eggs. Which is so sad and pathetic. Okay.
Boy, that makes Easter look like a whole different holiday.
Right? Where was I? Okay. The male also supplied reason and excellence to the egg, as if the hen received the art and reason, the form and laws of the future embryo from his address. Nor should we so much wonder what it is in the cock that preserves and governs so perfect and beautiful an animal, and is the first cause of the entity which we call the soul. See? Yeah. We think it's the soul. From how so, though? How do you rationalize that? You can't. It's made up. The soul. What is the soul?
Because they just feel that everything comes from semen. Because to them it does.
No, I'm just saying it's like, but you see, like where there's a material rational reality, where there's material like effects, like the egg, but they have the soul. Well, what is that? What does that even mean? It means
because it's immaterial, they can claim it.
It makes no rational sense. This is what I mean. It falls apart right away. That's how you know it's bullshit. When you go down to the fundamentals, it actually comes up with this theory. Yeah, it falls apart. This is why I don't believe in it, right? The rational sense it makes no rational fucking sense of what he's saying. Okay, let's keep going. but much more what it is in the egg of so great virtue as to produce such an animal and raise him to be the very summit of excellence. Harvey recognized, as had Aristotle, that the offspring was not the conscious result of the male mind. Hence, they both held the position that it was nature working through the parents that produced the young. The skill and foresight contributed by the male must ultimately proceed from God, since the vegetative, not the rational portion of the soul, was used in reproduction. Jesus. Harvey argued against Galenist physicians conversant with anatomy that women excreted a seminal fluid necessary to generation, and that the semina of both male and female had material and efficient faculties. Although he was correct that female did not produce semen, his reasons were value-laden and based on the masculine bias that energy and perfection could proceed only from the male. Obviously. Because how does your semen have soul? Jeez.
Only men have souls. Everyone knows that.
Right? Right? Exactly. Quote, the other argument is drawn from the genital organs of the woman, the testes, to wit, and vas spermatica, praeatia, et differentia, whatever the fuck that means, which are held to serve for the preparation of the spermatic fluid. I, for my part, greatly wonder how anyone can believe that form parts so imperfect and obscure a fluid like the semen, so elaborate. Wax poetic about your fucking sperm, guy.
They
so elaborate.
fucking
right?
love that. They love to do that.
and vivifying,
Philosophy is absolutely chock full of shit like that. All over
concocted
the
and
place.
vivifying can ever be produced, endowed with force and spirit and generative influence adequate to overcome that of the male. For this is implied in the discussion concerning the predominance of the male or the female, as to which of them is to become agent and efficient cause, which the matter empathic principle. How should such a fluid, the females, get the better of another concocted under the influence of a heat so fostering, a fluid, a heat so fostering, or vessels so elaborate and endowed with such vital energy? How should such a fluid as the male semen be made to play the part of mere matter? Oh my god! In quote. The waxing poetic is so fucking taking me out. I can't help. Calm down, slow your roll. Your ejaculate's not that important.
No, but it really does sound like if you put it in modern parlance, it would sound like a lot of, like
manosphere shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Self-important masculine it never changes.
Yeah. Cultural bias also guided his research on the theory of impregnation. Well, this should be fun. In which he argued, contra Aristotle, that fertilization could take place without material contact of sperm and egg. Okay.
Man, I hope not.
So then really, who's the trans now? Who's the ideology now coming into play? The fertilization of you before the meat soul, or sorry, before your meat package. Sorry. The fertilization could take place without material contact of sperm and egg, a theory testable only after the perfection of the microscope. His conclusion that the male semen was so powerful that it could act at a distance by seminal aura or magnetic emanation was supported by
evidence,
cultural ideas
please.
of male superiority. Okay, buddy.
Evidence, please.
Well,
evidence, please.
We do have evidence to showcase that's not what happens because we have a microscope.
No, right. No,
but
right.
It was just taken as a belief, as real back then. Which is
I'm gonna make that bitch pregnant from all the way over here just by looking at her real intense.
This is your great fucking physician, philosopher, and fucking the founder of your all your scientific methods.
No, and this is just This a really good. This is why I am so disrespectful of old philosophies and stuff, across the board in a lot of ways. Because check your bias, Jesus Christ.
Well, it's so irrational. That's just what I mean. When you get to the heart of things, there's an irrationality that will underlie shit that's not real. that is a lie, right? Like this is obvious. Like you can't. There's nothing that you can do to have that be explained as actually a thing because
Right.
it's made out of someone pulled it out of their ass.
Right.
So we can disregard everything that comes from following it.
Yeah.
Because based on a lie. It's just based on a
Mhm.
lie. So
Right.
yeah. Oh, God.
Men aren't superior. I'm sorry, that's just so ridiculous.
You're not pregnating people with the semen soul that you're projecting out there with your mind. Sorry.
My God, can you imagine?
It's not happening.
I
This is the guy
yeah,
that all fucking based on. Oh,
right.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm so glad that's not possible. I'm so glad they can't impregnate
Oh,
people
fuck,
from a
right.
distance.
That
Imagine
makes
the
no
world.
sense that you could. Like, how is that possible? How does that work? It does like that.
It's just it just fucking doesn't. Because if it did,
Yeah,
it would
it's the
happen,
stupidest
and
thing.
it doesn't. It doesn't happen. That's the thing, you know. Like,
Yeah. Well, yeah, it doesn't
I mean,
happen.
I don't know. I mean, like, okay. See, this is even stupider than a lot of those baseless beliefs, you know? Because, like, if somebody wants to believe in life after death, for example, no one fucking knows because you're dead. But you can literally look at the world and say that distance pregnancy doesn't fucking happen.
It's your dick's not a TV remote control, and you're not changing a channel.
That's right. That's just not how that works. It's never been how that works. Find me an example of a time that was how that worked.
Yeah, and then
No.
give me tell me exactly how that is working. I can tell you how a TV remote is working and how that works, but you can't.
Right. Strangely
do that
enough,
with your cock
I
and
can
a fucking
find somebody to tell you. I can find somebody who will tell you they saw the afterlife. Whether or not they were hallucinating is the debate, right? Like,
yeah.
You'll never find somebody who's like, yeah, I got that bitch pregnant just by looking at her. That never happens.
I
Ever,
mean, you
ever,
might
ever,
find
ever,
something.
ever.
You might. You never know.
He's wrong.
It's wrong. It's a lie.
Talk to her.
Yeah. All right.
She'll tell you that's not what happened. I'm sorry. That's so.
It's just such a funny thing when you look at some of these things. Like, I swear. Okay. This cultural preconception guided the interpretation of his experiments on the king's deer. During the 1630s, he dissected large numbers of King Charles's does just after coition, sex, basically, a fancy word, with bucks and found no seed in their uterus. Oh my God. Quote, but when after repeated inspections, I still found nothing more than the uterus. I began to doubt and to ask myself whether the semen of the male could be any possibility make its way by attraction or injection to the seat of the conception. And repeated examination led me to the conclusion that none of the semen whatsoever reached this seat, end quote. He had also reached the same conclusion regarding the cock and the hen, an opinion first put forth by his teacher, Fribricus. Quote, the semen which is emanated by the male during intercourse does by no means enter the uterus of the female in which the egg is perfected, nor can it indeed, as I first announced, and Fribricus agrees with me, by any manner or way get into the inner recesses of that organ, end quote. What? You're
So what the fuck did they think was going on? You know, that stuff that looks like reproduction, it's not actually.
Since there was no contact between egg and sperm, Harvey endowed the male semen with the prodigious power of acting at a distance. The semen acted through a sympathy or magnetic emanation in a way similar to that by which diseases were transmitted. It was the same as the manner in which, quote, epidemic, contagious, and pestilential diseases scatter their seeds and are propagated to a distance through the air.
Okay, that's
by some
funny.
foams producing diseases like themselves and bodies of a different nature. And in a
because he wasn't wrong.
silently manipulating
That's
themselves
funny.
by kind of generation, end quote. Oh my God. Idiot.
No, because you do have like a microscopic organism that needs to penetrate in order to cause disease. So he was right, but he was wrong. That's funny.
Yeah, like you're just not seeing it with the naked eye, my dude.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah. Well, oh my gosh. Imagine living during the time of the discovery of like microscopic germs, and there's this entire universe that you just can't see all around you. Oh,
Yeah.
to have to learn that for the first time, right? Oh my god. Mhm.
Okay, what was I? The female was impregnated by contagion. Generation was analogous to a disease caused by the introduction of a parasitic or foreign cause, which played the role of an active generative vital principle. Contagion
This
was an
feels
active
true.
power as opposed to putrefaction, which was the generative principle found in decay. Later, Jean-Baptiste van Helmont characterized disease as the introduction of a foreign semen that became superimposed on the organism's own plan of vital internal growth and development. For Harvey, the male semen had a plastic power that made it prolific, a spiritual power analogous to the essence by which the stars influenced earthly beings. Oh, God. The semen carried within it the virtue of divine agency, affecting the female like lightning from above, a spark from a flintstone, or the magnetic power of the low iodstone. Quote, by since it is certain that the semen of the male does not so much reach the cavity of the uterus, much less continue along there, and that it carries with it a fecundating power by a kind of contagious property, the woman, after contact with the spermatic fluid in contu, seems to receive influence and to become fungated without the cooperation of any sensible corporeal agent in the same way as iron touched by the magnet is endowed with its powers and can attract other iron to it. Okay.
Okay.
The male semen was so powerful that it even affected the woman's mind. Oh my. Quote, the virtue which proceeds from the male in coitu, which has such prodigious powers of fundication that the whole woman, both in mind and body, undergoes a change, unquote. The theory that the brain had the power to affect the developing fetus in the uterus was not an uncommon notion in Harvey's time. Paracelsus had written that the imagination of a pregnant woman is so active that in conceiving seed into her body, she can transmute the fetus in different ways. Her interior stars are so strongly directed to the fetus that they produce impression and influence. Oh my God. What is this? Shit? And quote,
Yeah. So if
the
it
male
comes
sperm,
out disformed, it's your fault.
yeah, exactly. The male sperm endowed the female uterus with the plastic power to create an offspring. Yeah, that's okay. Thus, the uterus was similar to a brain about to create, in the same way that the painter about to produce a work of art pictured to himself the painting. But this uterine brain was not a free agent. It produced only what was impressed on it by the more perfect male.
Then how do you ever get, wait, legit
Yeah.
question. How do you ever get a female child?
What do you mean?
But like the male impressed this upon her, and that's the only reason. Like if the picture, he can't impress a female picture. He's a male. I'm just saying.
No, I know, but like he's saying that no, the only reason why it has any sort of thought at all, any sort of like characterization, any persona, is because the male had to use magnetic power of plasticity to construct the female to help with that creation because she doesn't have a brain and it changes
Yeah.
her.
No. Yeah. I'm just saying, if you lean too far on either direction of either sex being totally superior to the other, you eventually have to wonder why are they even there. Then.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous.
No.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
quote, and just as a desire arises from a conception of the brain, and this conception springs from some external object of desire, so also from the male, as being the more perfect animal, and as it were, the most natural object of desire, does the natural organic conception arise in the uterus. Oh, so they think it! They get it to being, even as the
Yeah.
animal conception does in the brain. Okay,
Sure.
God, what a fucking crock of shit. This dude is a
Oh,
fucking
it's
idiot.
completely insane.
Through the imposition of the form or plan of the father on the uterus during coitus, it results that the female produces an offspring like the father, end quote. The form of the father existing in the uterus generates an offspring like himself with the help of the formative faculty. Harvey's work on generation thus reflected the cultural sex biases of his society, especially in areas where he most strongly disagreed with received authority. He differed from Aristotle by claiming that all animal life was generated from eggs and that the egg was an efficient cause, but he maintained that the sperm was superior to the egg as an efficient cause and was the agent of perfection. Secondly, his argument against Galenist physicians concerning the existence of a female semen was based on the cultural assumption that semen was too elaborate, vivifying, and energetic to come from obscure, imperfect female parts. Thirdly, he disagreed with both Aristotle and Galen that generation occurred through the mingling of contributions from female and male, and concluded instead that impregnation took place without contact.
So
this is just what you're doing. It's like essentially doing a step backwards of intelligence, even all the way back from the Aristotle period.
right. No, and that was a lot of the project of, the early Middle Ages was undoing a lot of that Hellenistic stuff that we were just talking about earlier. They, overwrote all of that, which is honestly, occult just means hidden, right?
Yeah.
All of that shit is hidden because it was polytheistic.
Yeah. This meant that the male semen must be endowed with an extraordinary magnetic power capable of affecting the female uterus and mind from a distance. While his conclusions were consistent with Aristotelian sexual ideas, they were reinforced by the conservative social values of his time. Far from championing the equality of male-female principles of reproduction, Harvey's theories fall within the tradition of male superiority. Mid-17th century natural philosophers continued the tradition of male superiority in generation, maintaining that the soul itself was distributed through the male lineage. Descartes believed that the egg was impregnated by the power of the male semen, which endowed it with a soul. In Emilio Parciano's opinion, published in 1621, the semen was infused with the soul for the propagation of the species. Even the atomists, traditionally associated with the democratizing tendencies in cultural history, differentiated between those contributed by the male and those from the female. Thus, physician Nathaniel Highmore, in his History of Generation, published in 1651, postulated two sorts of seminal atoms in the seed: material and spiritual atoms. Spiritual atoms! Okay. What the fuck is it, a spiritual atom? Thing that doesn't exist?
I don't know. I don't think they've found that one yet.
Yeah, because it doesn't exist. That's why. Quote, these seminal atoms fall from all parts of both parents, the spiritual ones from the male, the material ones from the female. Thus, the atoms of Democritus are transmuted into substantial forms endowed with the efficient cause of Aristotle and permitted to remain material, end quote. So if we can get rid of the actual idea of spiritual, because that obviously you cannot describe that, it does not exist. The only thing that matters is the material, I guess, huh? And since you are saying that that's only female, then I guess that you don't matter. Because that's what I'm seeing from this. Because the only thing that you can actually give evidence to is the material.
If only we could say they don't matter. Obviously all of this bullshit matters way too much.
Yeah. Okay.
Wouldn't it be nice if we could just brush off 17th century nonsense and be like, yeah, we just don't need to pay any attention to that, unfortunately.
Yeah. As late as 1661, Anthony Everard still held that the male semen contributed to the spiritual element and the mother of the matter. Everard argued that the fetus was formed from the union of the male and female seminal spirits. The female semen, as such, did not contribute to generation, while the masculine semen, acting only as an efficient cause, did not contribute anything material. After Anton van Leeuwenhoek's introduction of the microscope, the problem of generation began to take on new dimensions in the controversy between spermicists and ovists over preformation. Yeah, like, oh, whoops. Like, woo! We just put all this energy into just sticking with this one hill to die on. The microscope got offended, and we're like, oh, damn it! Let's just pretend that we don't know about this.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like you should.
It still works. It still works.
It's just a little airborne. It's still good. It's still good. Right?
The use of science as an ideology to keep women in their place was not confined to ancient and early modern times. In the 19th century, Darwinian theory was found to hold social implications for women. Variability, the basis for evolutionary progress was correlated with the greater spread of physical and mental variation in males. Of course, scientists compared male and female cranial sizes and brain parts in the effort to demonstrate the existence of sexual differences that would explain female intellectual inferiority and emotional temperament. Women's reproductive function required that more energy be directed toward pregnancy and maternity, hence less was available for the higher functions associated with learning and reasoning. But do you see where gender is now starting to form? The idea of
You
gender?
see how scared they are of what if that's not true? What if you
I
can
know.
be a whole person and
So
give birth to a whole person? Oh my God, that would be
So,
amazing. And
you
you
need
can't
to
have
realize,
that.
everyone out there, when you say you believe that biological gender is real, you're basing that off a guy who thinks that you can inseminate people from a distance. And that it's because the atoms of their sperm are not seen, they're spiritual atoms. This
Mhm.
is where your internal biological determination that you claim, that's where that your actual thought processes is based on. Something is this fucking stupid. This is where it comes from.
Yeah.
That's where it actually lies, and that's why it's bullshit, because you can obviously don't, unless you believe in semen are based on spirit atoms,
What was this guy's name?
impregnating people from a distance.
What was this guy's
That's what
name?
you're gonna have to try to fucking function on and say that that's rational. If you can't do that, then your whole idea of gender as eternal and like somehow biological falls flat. You can't prove it, and it's based on
Right,
something that's
yeah.
obviously not provable because it's a
It's
lie.
based on an outdated idea that nobody believes anymore, and so people just don't talk about that part.
Yeah, they don't talk about that part, pretending that that's not where the basis lies, right? Yeah.
Yep. It's not a religious idea, not at all, not at all. And you're a bigot for saying so.
Yeah, the adventurous.
But so what is this guy's name, this philosopher? Do you remember?
The one that's saying it now, or William Harvey?
William Harvey, he's the one with his
He's the one
sperm
that
from a
came up with the whole
distance.
thing. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna look into him. He sounds fun.
He's right. Okay. The adventurous sperm and the passive ovum continued to serve as reproductive metaphors. In the 20th century, hormonal differences between men and women have been used to imply abnormal levels of androgen in women who display high intelligence, competitive behavior, leadership, and executive ability. Thus, quote-unquote scientific authority could be used to keep women in their place as intellectually inferior and economically dependent.
Or if you're not intellectually inferior, you must secretly be a man inside.
Yeah. Oh, there goes the trend.
Yeah.
With gender ideology starting to play here. It's the same thing, guys.
Oh no, that's literally how I got there as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in each of these cases, male and female critics expose the theoretical and cultural assumptions underlying the leap from differences to inequalities. New fields and new scientific studies continue to generate quote-unquote evidence to maintain outdated assumptions about the male-female hierarchy. Reproduction, hormones, menstruation, and pregnancy is used to infer and justify the female economic dependence brought about in the 17th century transition from subsistence to capitalist modes of production. For women, this aspect of the scientific revolution did not bring about the presumed intellectual enlightenment, objectivity, and liberation from ancient assumptions traditionally accorded with it. Yeah, because it's based off stupid, like, medieval thought processes and understanding.
Because they refused to even accept the possibility that maybe that was one of the assumptions that they were making.
Yeah, because considering they had no evidence to base their assumptions on or what they were saying on, then yeah, there's no evidence for it, by the way.
Right. We're going to question all of these assumptions, but the inferiority of women, oh no, that's a fact.
Yeah, no, can't do that because, we can't look at that. No, it just is. It is because it is. Say it is. It is evidence. No, just because I say it is. That's your argument. That's your argument.
Because the alternative makes me scared.
Still trying to look for that internal deficiency of the sexes in the brain, but but when you say, oh, it's from this part of the brain, there actually is no material evidence to say that is what that brain part does. Meaning,
there's also no practical evidence.
Baseless. No
There's
evidence.
also there's no unbiased practical evidence that women aren't as intelligent. That is
I
just
know, right? It
demonstrably
just isn't.
untrue.
It just isn't. You have no material basis of evidence for it. So that's
Nope.
the end of the chapter. It's a great
Oh,
chapter. I
okay.
love that chapter.
It
That was really
was.
fun.
Brava. That was fantastic. Yes. This has
Yeah,
been
that was
such a
really fucking
great
funny.
stream. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah.
And I guess I can give us another 10 minutes or so. I would love to get off of here at 2:00 and go grocery
Yeah, whenever
shopping
you're ready. I've got things I gotta get
and
done
stuff.
because I gotta get things set up for my trip.
Okay.
So excited.
Well, so we got a few minutes to sort of do a denouement. Oh my God, my husband is home already. He had to go to the church to see about getting a tree cut down.
Oh my.
Yeah, because he's junior warden. It's actually really good for him to like get involved in something. It's fun to watch somebody like activate in a way that you hadn't seen before. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
in a community driven sort of a way. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like the inevitable question of why the hell do you guys go to church? You know, just sort of hovers there. You know.
Yeah. I'm just really excited to go out into the wild.
Oh yeah.
I just waited.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
I want
yeah.
to get out of here. I just want to get out of here. Can I get out of here yet? I hate it here. Fucking setting up an
Oh,
AI data
I remember
center.
when I
Oh
was
my
so.
god.
Oh, are they doing that over there?
Well, we talked about this last time, didn't we? I
I
think we
don't.
did.
Maybe.
Yeah, they're trying
Maybe
to
I
put
was
in.
so
Yeah, and I'm like,
busy
okay,
last
well,
week.
everyone, like, be ready because that's gonna get burnt down either way.
Oh yeah, right. No,
We're not having it. We're not having it.
I hope not. You know, send a message. I don't know how else they're going to listen. I don't know how else they're going to hear.
Well,
You know.
it matters if you have the people there in your area, like getting all heated, really. But they have mostly in Vancouver because they're
Good.
trying to do one in Vancouver. But I'm hoping
Okay.
that Nanaimo follow suit. So
Okay. No, my friend who just actually flew in for my son's graduation lives in
yeah, you were saying
Vancouver. I
that's
didn't
from
realize
Vancouver.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize that he was all the way over there. Last I heard, he was in Quebec. So I didn't
Yeah.
really get a good chance to interrogate him about any of that.
Yeah.
But
it's already pretty well established. Why people like know about it because they were trying to hide it, right? And now people are pissed. So there's been a lot going on. So hopefully that just trickulates into where I am at because it's so close. Right?
Right, yeah. I don't see why it wouldn't. God knows it'll affect you guys.
Well, yeah. So hopefully people get up in arms with it, and I think people will. I think there's been enough push with certain people that are trying to mobilize against it. Actually, and nobody wants it. Nobody likes it. Nobody wants it. Literally,
Right.
nobody does. So it's something that everyone can like agree on. Everyone's happy with like going after that. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants it.
It's this uniting thing. It's so nice, really, in that way.
Yeah, it actually kind of is because it's gonna take all your jobs. It's gonna fucking harm you. It's gonna take all your water. It's like I said, gonna take all jobs. You're not gonna be able to have jobs to fill it. It's gonna take the jobs.
No, it's gonna pollute the environment.
So it's gonna be watching you and like spying on you. Nobody wants that. Like
it's just couldn't be more clear that
so it steals all that shit and then like with like disregards human like tech, human processes with putting out production. So like it's for nobody. Nobody wants it.
No, it couldn't be more clear that it's just against the interests of all humans.
Exactly. Like everyone has a stake in it. So that's and an understandable stake. Like people understand that there's a stake. Everyone. Doesn't matter where you fall politically. Everyone knows that it's heinous. So that helps.
And who knows? Maybe
putting any fucking data centers in their fucking gated communities. They're not. It's only going to be for us.
Exactly. Maybe this will finally be the gelling of the class consciousness. Who knows?
It may be, but hopefully it was all too late because I think the main reason why they're putting it in there isn't for like just chat GDP or art theft, which I mean, yeah, the AI generates those things, but I think it's mostly for surveillance. It's mostly to make sure that they have a complete and utter like grasp on hold of you, and everywhere you go, no matter what you do, they know.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
shit's
that
gonna go
is.
bad because you're gonna get water crisis, food instability, the war. So there's oil instability, right? Everything's getting worse and more. And so they know that people are not going to take it when it starts to get really bad. They just want to make sure that be able to employ power over you. So the time that you feel you're backed into a corner and that you have to survive, you have to fight back. It's going to be too late. That's what they're planning. That's what they're planning. That's why they're building so many fucking like detention centers. It's not for the immigrants. It's for everyone else. I swear to God. Because if it was just for immigration and like for detention centers for like immigrants and all that, they wouldn't be putting up and spending all the money for these detention centers. They would just put in a law that gets the employers in trouble, because then if they stop employing these immigrants, then the immigrants won't come because they won't be employing them. You just have to take a few of them away and they'll stop doing it. That is so much cheaper, so much faster, so much less work and hassle to do. Why are they doing that? Because it's not for immigrants. It's for people. It's for you as well. It's not just for immigrants, and quote unquote. Trust me. The reason why they're building things is because they want those detention centers to stay for a purpose. Even when the immigration's all gone, why they'll still be there. That's why. So, because that's the rationality. There is no rationality for building so many of them for a problem that's supposed to be fixable, right? They wouldn't do that. Right. They're capitalists. They're not going to put in all that money for nothing. They're investing in it to, to detain you. So that's why. Because anyways, that's a whole other tangent. Just warning people.
Well, it's a good point. I can't argue with it,
Yeah. It's not a doomer thing. That's just the trajectory. Like, if it was a doomer thing, I just wouldn't care to say anything. But like, I think it's important to let people know so that they can actually fight back. So,
right,
the trajectory will go if you know it does. So, yeah.
Well, and see, the thing is, like, hopefully people can take these risks seriously because of how far things have already come, right?
Yeah.
Even a few years ago,
die fighting than die fucking on your knees, because like either way, that's not going to be any good outcome for you if you like whether or not you do anything. It's still going to be shit if you don't do anything. So you might as well you might as well not be pathetic and just let them fuck you over. Don't let yourself be fucked over like that. At least fight back. At least give them a fucking fight for it. Like, don't just lay over and die. Like, Jesus, fuck.
Yeah.
Pathetic. Don't be pathetic, please.
Here's a good slogan for you. Don't be pathetic.
Yeah.
It's a good slogan.
Yeah. It's a good, don't be pathetic. Like, don't be a cowardly, pathetic, like, tool. You fucking yeah. That's well, thank you for coming to my TED Talks.
Well, I own the channel and I make the videos to give my opinion, and I love the discussion. It's always a good discussion.
We always have interesting discussions, I think. Even when we argue, I think we have I think it's really just, I don't know, it's fun.
Right, I'm like, oh my God, if we never argued about anything, I mean, how boring.
That would be culty. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't want to have.
And that's what I tell my kids, like when you run into somebody who disagrees with you about something. I've never in my life met anyone who agreed with me about everything. That never happens.
Yeah.
So if somebody disagrees with me about a thing, well, that's just Tuesday, or in this case, Friday.
Just make your arguments. Maybe change the person's mind, or maybe you don't know everything, and then maybe you have a thought of something, and your mind will get changed. That's always a possibility too,
right?
And
or maybe you can just agree to disagree.
Do you want to feel like do you want to be just right in a perception, or do you want to be right in like actual intellect and the actual reality? Right. Well, and there's grasp on reality really than a popularity contest, really. So
because an idea can be super popular and still completely inaccurate, and inaccuracies don't help anybody, do they?
Like impregnating women with the power of your
soul. That's so gross.
So stupid.
The first time you said that, I was like, she dissected what to find what? Oh my god. I was trying to
Yeah.
eat my lunch. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, but it's just the funny thing about this whole idea of gender. This is where it comes from. This is where it stems from. It's from this fucking dude. This fucking dude who thinks he's impregnating women with his mind and soul semen atoms. That's like your face this lies on. Like you feel stupid for lying on that guy? I would.
I feel like it goes back way further than that, but
But no,
it's
the actual modern take of gender is where this comes from. Like the modern take of gender.
yeah,
Right? Yeah.
right. It's all based on feels, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's all based on whether you feel something or not, you know. Like, which was funny because for a minute he
Whether you
was
want something or not.
yeah.
It feels just something that you want it to be true, so you're just going to pretend it's true. And making up some gobbledygook to like explain why it's true, but even if it's just gobbledygook.
What the fuck gives this guy the clout to feel like he gets to say literally what women are? I'm sorry. How does he know any better than anybody else, first of all? Secondly, how is he such the expert? You know,
like his theory on like how that actually works doesn't hold up to anything because there's no evidence for it. So how can you keep going with it? That's my thing. I'm like, there's no evidence. There's evidence to the contrary, actually. So what the fuck?
Yeah. Right. No, it's just the arrogance, the pure huffing of arrogance.
To put that out there as truth, not even as theory, but as truth. Yeah, I know. It's fucking so dumb.
Imagine being so self-important. It's like what they say. Oh, no, this is one of my favorite slogans. Carry yourself with the confidence of a mediocre white man.
Yeah.
That is one of my favorite slogans. And this guy, William Harvey was his name? Yeah, that sounds like an Englishman to me.
Yeah.
Wow. Right. Like, wow.
Sounds like what his treaty's called, whatever, like in generation or something. I don't know. Let me see again. Where was it?
I am going to look him up and read up about this guy because he sounds like a lot of fun. I bet he knew John
fun
Dee.
As fuck, right?
I wonder if he knew John Dee. I hope he did. John Dee is one of my favorite, like, random occultists because, you know, he was like the Aleister Crowley of the Elizabethan era.
Yeah.
He was so much fun.
It's William Harvey. Yeah, William Harvey. Such an English fucking dolph name.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah. Ingeneratus or something like that?
Yeah. And
what was he called?
It's De Generation. It's I guess like it's DE and then GENERATIONE, whatever. So that's it's treated as whatever. So yeah, in generation, I don't know. That sounds like French to me.
It does. Maybe. But yeah.
Oh, although Harvey's okay. So then there's the degeneration animalium, which is animalium is like animal, but with IUM at the end as well. And that's where he goes into the whole chick hen thing.
Nice.
Oh, fuck Christ.
Yeah. Like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's I want to be generous, you know, because they were right at the beginning of the scientific revolution, and it's like having a spark in the dark, right? And you think you begin to see something, and they got all excited, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, yikes.
Yeah. It's well, the scientific revolution or whatever, a lot of it, and it is based on like mechanical theory, right? And that's where mechanical theory really sprouted from, going through it. And like there's so much about it that's like really troubling. Let's just say that like it's mostly just the perception of the way that they're gathering certain information and the way that they're just so disassociated from it because they're seeing it as a machine, right?
Yeah.
But they don't associated. It's the hubris of it that really like is really just is really I think
Shocking.
shocking and dangerous. Just
Yeah.
kind of looking at
Yeah.
like super like that's really like that's why shit is so fun. There's so much thriving hubris in mechanical theory.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, and like I say, I mean, the idea that everything should be breakdownable into mechanical parts, I think, might be hubris in itself.
totally. No, totally.
So
Like it
it's
doesn't mean to
based
be a
on
mechanical. It doesn't mean to be like a tool. You can explain it in a way that's not mechanical like, but the way that they
Mhm.
do is mechanical like.
Yeah.
When shifting over to the scientific revolution and starting of it, because before it wasn't, but like before you didn't have rational like explanations of the evidence. You give that without being mechanical and seeing everything as a tool, and you're envisioning it as someone who's outside of that aspect. Like you're seeing yourself as God, and these are your tools.
Right. So
Right? That's
crazy.
fucking weird.
And just the more time goes on, the more I find that I'm like striving to strike this balance between like empiricism and the limits of empiricism.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, like even at the beginning of it too, it's like, okay, well, the female's the matter, and then our semen, soul, sperm. So you've already taken yourself out from that sort of, because you're coming from the ideology of the cosmos. So you've already taken and disassociated yourself out, and now you're seeing everything else as projection, as a mechanical tool, but you're not including yourself in that aspect. You're seeing yourself as God still. And that's the problem.
Okay. And the idea of like putting yourself forth as an objective empiricist while at the same time believing in the invisible parallel universe.
Yeah.
What?
Or that you are a part of that, like, or you redefine yourself as God, of the creator, and now you're the God and creator of everything because you create.
Because if you're separate from the material, that's the closer you are to the immaterial realm, you know, and like, my God.
Right? So yes,
we always just
God,
come back to like rejecting life over and over and over again. No, I'm not a living creature. Ah, la 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 la. Okay.
Right? Yeah. I'm not material based. I'm the God, but the material base must be the machine, and I'm the creator of the machine, which means I'm God. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where that's where it all falls around.
You bend over completely backwards and shove your head firmly up your own ass.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on here. Exact analogy.
If you find yourself coming to the conclusion that you are God, you are mistaken. Wow. Oh my God. Just that's so I think we can agree on that, right? Like those people are all so deluded.
I know. It's so like sniffing their own farts, get high and sniffing their own farts. Yeah. Yeah,
no humility whatsoever. Oh my God. Humility is for mortals. I need to be even bolder.
I swear I'm God.
And bend this world to my will.
Oh my God. Your ass, start sniffing them farts and you fucking get high and you just fucking can't come back down, eh?
Yes. Yeah. And you want to talk about laughing at modern witchcraft? That's what a lot of that is too. Is people just trying to like bend the world by the force of their own brute force will, and it's like, why would any of that work that way?
Sniff your own farts. We understand. We've seen it before.
Right? Yeah. Congratulations, you've made a perfect circle that goes nowhere. Good job.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It is quite a trick. I won't deny that. It takes a lot of flexibility to be able to bend over backwards that far.
And that's, I think, a lot of difference between people, how they gain information and what they believe in a lot is either one, you are doing it out of an insecure, egotistical urge, or you actually care about something other than yourself.
Right. Are you doing it to reinforce what you already believe, or are you doing it out of curiosity?
Or reinforce something you want to believe in, because it gives you status.
Well, right. Or it's just comforting because you're terrified, you know.
Yeah, or exactly, or that, and it makes you feel good. Is it about you, or is it about just or do you actually want to have intellectual understanding of reality? Because I'm sorry, I'd rather not be delusional in my own like huffing of farts. I'd rather not do that. I'd rather actually understand reality, whether or not I like that reality or not. You know?
Right. Yeah.
And
No,
I
yeah.
want to know what's going on, and I want to be able to understand actual material reality. Doesn't
Right.
matter
Curiosity.
how that where I fit in it, whatever it is, it will be. But
Well, I feel like it's
I'm
much
not gonna
more outwardly
be here for snippet
focused,
parts.
right?
Yeah.
You know, it's outwardly focused. You're like trying to, you know, like learn about what's outside of
I just
yourself
want to know
as
what's
opposed
real.
to
Yeah, it's not about
right,
my ego. It's not about the way I
right,
feel what about is real. I don't give a shit about that. I want to know what's just real. Full
right.
stop. If there was actual any legitimacy to some of the things that I don't believe in, if there was actually, I would believe in that. You just have to tell
Right.
me the rational, like how it rationally is, and how it affects material reality. That's all I need. That's all I need for me to believe in something. So it's not about sniffing own farts. I don't want to get high off my own farts. They're not that smelling good.
Right now.
Yeah.
No. It's best to stay upright and facing forwards. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if
But
it's
anyway,
scary.
that's my reasoning. That's the reason why I
No,
brought
I
like
agree. And I just think it's so interesting how we can still have such different perspective because I completely agree.
Yeah. Because it's rational. If you're putting your head up your ass, I
Right.
know you're smelling your own fart. That's rational.
Well, yeah. I mean, okay. And see, this is no. This is I could have this debate all day because I don't quite know exactly what I mean to say.
Yeah.
Oh, because communicating these ideas and like actually, you know, sculpting them constructive in a concrete manner is still a work in progress.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I understand.
But I'm having so much
Especially
fun.
if you're just sort of trying to like go over it, like newly go over sort of like the way that like your position is. Like I've been thinking about this shit for a long time. So yeah, like years.
Well, and you know, I mean, I've been thinking about these things for a long time, and then like, not to say too much, but recently had acquired a pile of new information. So you know, it happens.
See, for me, like I've been really active too, like for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and I've only like, and it really burnt me out like a lot.
Right.
So I never stopped having sort of understandings, learning new things, but like trying to impart that onto other people who don't want to know, and trying to find people who are like have a rational sort of understanding of things and they can talk to me about these things because they like looked into it. That's what's hard for me, because I'll go into and try to do things, and then all of a sudden I'm surrounded by these fucking like these people with complete different like thought processes from me, because they are completely irrational about where they're coming from. They just have
Right.
one little aspect, and
Right.
then I get you try to like say, well, this is important to understand this. They don't want to know. They don't want to know, and so like trying to always having to like go out of my way to try to find people who are just want to have an intellectual overall holistic understanding is really actually hard and difficult to do. A lot of people do just sniff their own farts. They really do. It's really annoying. And it's disheartening. So it's always going to come here and not sniff. So, I mean.
Yeah. Get some fresh air in the room. Yeah. Oof.
Yeah. So anytime you want to go into any sort of intellectual discussion about anything, I'm here for it. Yeah.
But not next week, because next week we're taking the week off.
Yeah. Next week I'm going for my trip again.
Yeah. That sounds fun. Have a good trip.
Oh, I will. I'll send you pictures. I'll take pictures and send it to you in email.
Ooh, that sounds fun. Yeah.
So you can see where I'm at and see what looks like.
Oh my
Maybe
God.
I'll spot a bear or two. There's a lot of
He showed me the picture of the view from their, like, they live on the 7th floor, and I was like, oh my God, mountains. Holy shit. Like, we think we have mountains here in Tennessee. Not like that, we don't.
No, not exactly. We've got huge mountains in this area.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Mainland and on the island. Yeah. Huge mountains. Scary mountains. Really white tipped always mountains, glaciers.
Right. Enough to give you megalophobia, right? Just looking out the window.
Well, like because it's like the fjords of Norway, right? It's huge, like huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the Rocky Mountains is also huge, so like it's kind of like we're a very mountainous area, let's just say, because we're next to the Ring of Fire, right?
Which I would love to get some footage of some of the trails back around here because it's gorgeous here.
Yeah.
And use them as B-roll in some of my videos. That I still plan to do that. I just need to actually go out and go hiking.
Yeah, maybe I'll even make a video and put it on my channel or something like that of just like walking through a trail.
Oh, that would be so cool. I love stuff like that. I don't know.
Me too.
I subscribe to a couple of different channels. That's literally all they do is go around, walk through the countryside, and show you shit and tell you about shit.
See, the only problem is I don't like going with my camera and like having people like look at me funny. Like it's weird feeling. But I need to get over it. I'm so technologically like not up to date with this generation. Like,
I
just feel like it feels so, I don't know, gross almost. But I mean, I would like to show it to other people. It's just that like having a walking around with like a camera filming, it just seems like cringe.
Sacrilegious.
I don't know how to explain it other than like I feel cringe to be like almost like detached almost from what I'm doing. Just for
there's an argument to be made for that. Like I'm bad actually for like not filming kids plays and shit because I just want to watch the fucking play.
Right, exactly. I want to be in that moment. I don't want to like be internet cloud. Yeah,
exactly. And like,
it's
how much am I? Well,
really
certainly I'm not doing it for internet cloud. I'm certainly not going to post it anywhere.
But,
anyway,
that's what it feels like for me because most people it would be internet cloud, right? So it makes me feel gross when I do it.
Well, on the other side of cringe is freedom, as they say. So if you want to do it, do it. If you don't, then no.
It's like around here,
I would love to see that. Speaking for myself. Yes. Oh, that might actually be a good idea.
Right? So I'm trying now that there's that going on. I'm like, I really should probably start putting shit out there.
Yeah, especially as you're going to like all of these particular, spots.
Places on the island, yeah.
That probably have stuff worth highlighting, right?
Yeah.
That's why you go there. Yeah. That's
See, that's what I was thinking.
Might not be a bad idea. So, yeah. And you still wouldn't have to show your face. You still wouldn't have to show your face because that's not the fucking point.
No, I don't. Yeah, exactly. Because I never do. I never show my face.
Right.
I hate when.
And I'm just saying.
That's one thing.
I just love concepts like that.
You don't even show your face. You're just like, it's like, why do you think people like should show their face? I think it's a smarter thing not to show your face. I
don't see why it's mandatory.
Of the biological features than anything else.
Okay.
So,
my response to that would be, are you on Reddit?
No.
Why? You don't have to show your face. You don't have to give your real name. Why are you like, I'm sorry, it's stupid.
Yeah, like
where do you draw the line? Like, if you want to retain your level of anonymity, that's your fucking business.
Right. Well, it's not because it's like, well, you're hiding behind a not because of you. I'm hiding it because I don't need to be spied on by fucking government.
Because it's your level of privacy that you are comfortable with.
Like I'm not it's the level that I'm comfortable with. I want anonymity. I don't want to be able to be spotted from like a fucking spy surveillance shit. That everyone's
your face.
The fucking fact that we're getting spied on. That like everything is recording.
Yeah.
You, that everything is being able to have eyes on you. This was not how people thought back in the day. They were really adamant about this not being a thing for a reason. Because you can't get away. Like if they start to get away, do shit, you can't get away with opposing them. It's going to be a lot harder if they know where you are, all your tracks, all your steps, all your moves, what you look like, everything you do, everything you like, everything you don't like, all your political positions. They don't need to know that. So they don't need to have a face with my opinions on here. Agreed.
No, and I'm just saying, like, you use your face the way you fucking want to, and anybody who objects to that is a tool. What the fuck?
Yeah, right?
And I personally love.
Why do you want me to fucking out myself to the government and to the corporations and to the NASA? or not
Like
ask,
there
sorry.
are literally people who will sit
that's-
on camera, but they'll like wear sunglasses and like a hat and like a mask and shit to like disguise
Yeah,
their
that's
face
fine. Yeah, I could do
for
that.
exactly the same reason, you know. But you
Yeah.
don't have to.
I know, but like I wouldn't care about that. That would be like I could do that. Like that wouldn't like because that's the whole point. It's not the fact that that about hiding behind because like I'm terrified of the people on there. No, it's the people that
Yeah.
are actually in control of these internet fucking spaces that are
Right.
literally trying to get you to delve into your information that you are giving just because like you're giving all your information to them like on your own terms, like not on your own terms,
Yeah.
but like willingly. That's not
Yeah.
smart. That's really stupid to do. So the
It
fact that I don't
is.
like
It
that
is. It
argument of
is.
people like not showing their face, I'm like, yeah, there's a reason why people sometimes are not going to show their face, and it has nothing to do with cowardice
They're all.
or what
Yeah.
you think of them. It has nothing
Well,
to do
like
with that. So
the idea that anyone has the right to tell you what you should
I
and
just don't
shouldn't do.
understand why people think that that's a good idea. Not even have the right to tell you, but like have the idea that that's somehow a bad thing that what they're doing and isn't just smart.
No, I don't know. I don't know. That's really weird.
It
But
is
like,
weird.
I love concepts, especially like whole channel concepts where you literally don't even need to show you at all.
Yeah.
I think that's really kind of cool.
Well, that's what
Where,
my channel
you know,
is.
then
I
it
talk about
becomes
different minerals and whatever, right? But I
right,
just see my hands.
right,
I will never show
right.
my face.
So it's not about like your person, like you as a person. You know, it's about what you're
Yeah.
trying to present,
Exactly.
which is cool.
It's not an ego trip for me. I don't care.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd rather be
Or
more
that-
sleuthy. I don't want a lot of eyes on me either. Like I don't want a lot of like
Mhm.
it's not an ego trip. It's not about what people perceive of me personally. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
I'd rather be lurking. I don't want eyes on me because I gotta do stuff.
Yeah. And I wish you all the best of luck and all that kind of stuff that you're doing, and I completely understand, and I fully support you
Yeah.
and all that.
Yeah. I just
But
it's
if you wanted to
weird
take some
rants that I went on,
footage,
but like I don't know. I had a ranted.
but if you wanted to take some really beautiful footage of some really beautiful places up in Vancouver, I know I would have enjoyed this.
Yeah, I will. I totally will. I totally will
That would be awesome.
this time. Because I
Cool.
usually have some pictures. Sometimes I'll have some, walking pictures, but I'm just I just erase them afterwards. I'm like, it's just weird because I only don't finish them because I start to feel weird after. But I'll get through them and I'll do that
Wow.
this time so that I can show I'll have a purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. Preservation. Hell yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. So where I'm going actually, this coming Friday is Loveland Bay. So
Hmm.
that's like in like the middle of nowhere. It's on the lake. Up near Campbell River, if you don't know where that is, but it's close to Campbell River. So that's going to be up north from where I'm at. Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm really not familiar with that area at all.
Yeah.
But that's why it's interesting. Oh shit.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh no.
Oh, I'm back. But yeah, so that's so I better just actually let you go, but I just want to put that out there. I'll film and you can see, and I'll put it on my channel or something too.
Okay, and we can, do a link in the something or whatever for next
There's a link
couple
to
weeks.
something.
Where or whatever, you can put it in the chat or something for a
Yeah,
couple of
something like
weeks if
that.
people are interested in looking at that.
Or in the
We'll make the
description
connection
of
then.
like the live or something. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
So that we can make that connection for in case anybody's interested in that. So yeah, thank you so much again for reading this chapter. This one was really fun.
Yep. And we will be back together not next Friday, but the Friday after that.
Yep. 2 weeks. Watch this space.
Yeah.
All right.
Got it.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.